Welcome to the show where fish tales come alive. Join host Norman Lee, let's take a dive. By the freshwater lakes where the bass run deep, where the crappie bite and the memories we keep. We're casting lines and sharing all the tricks. Norman's on the mic with the pros top pick. We got stories from the masters fishing legends of our time, from major league fishing to the bass masters climb, tipping techniques and laughs along the way. So tune in tight, let's go fishing today. On the mic, where the fishing dream flows on the ride, we're casting out lines, you know. Norman Lee's got the tails and the bait, from morning fog to the evening's golden wake. We're talking bass and crappie, it's more than just a catch, it's the friendships we build, every story we sketch it. Remember that time on the river's bend when we hooked the big one on a wood of friends, sipping cold drinks, sharing secrets and lore. Fishing ain't just a hobby, it's at the heart of the shore. Sun-kissed dawns to nights where we sail, bringing in the biggest names in fishing fame. Through laughter and lines, it's all part of the game. On the mic, where the fishing dream flows on the ride, we're casting out lines, you know. Norman Lee's got the tails and the bait, from morning fog to the evening's golden wake. We're talking bass and crappie, it's more than just a catch, it's the friendships we build, every story we sketch. On the fishing podcast where we all gather here, with Norman Lee guiding the lines we cast. In the heart of the fishing world, memories will last. Let's go fishing, no one ever apart. On the mic is where we'll find the heart.
All right, what's going on, everybody? What is going on? We have another great episode, but welcome back to On the Mic. And we have a great guest lined up for tonight. But first, tonight's presenting sponsor for tonight's episode is Firefly Outdoors Marine. Man, you have got to go to their website, check out their nav lights, their shore stacker box, Mizu foul weather gear, their tep suits, and introducing their all new torch series. You can't beat it, guys. I am telling you. Go to their website, fireflymarine.com. That is www.fireflymarine.com. Get some Firefly Marine in your boat and you won't be sorry. But anyway, we have one heck of a show lined up for you for tonight. And anyway, our guest we got joining us on the mic is actually the owner of our presenting sponsor for tonight's episode, the owner of Firefly Outdoors Marine. Mr. Chad Watts is going to be joining the show. We have a lot to talk with Chad about. It's going to be a fun conversation that you're not going to want to miss. So I'm going to stop talking and we're going to jump right into tonight's episode. So joining us on the mic, Mr. Chad Watts. All right, we are on the mic with Mr. Chad Watts of Firefly Outdoor Marine. What is going on, Chad? How you doing, brother, this morning?
Doing good. How are you doing this morning, Norman?
Man, I tell you what, couldn't be doing any better, dude. Nice day out there. The weather's actually getting pretty nice now, man. It's been cold the last few days, and it's a little bit nice. Well, actually, a little bit overcast up here in East Tennessee this morning. But as far as the temps are concerned, it's not too bad out.
Yeah, it's certainly warmed up. I think it's supposed to be around 70 here for Christmas, but got up and it's raining a little bit this morning. But it's all good. I'll take it.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I'm probably gonna try to hit the lake sometime tomorrow and do a little yanking back on a few. So we'll see how things go.
It's always nice feeling to load up on one or two.
Oh yeah, man. How's the fishing up there around Alabama right now? Have you been out, or are you just too busy in the shop building products?
You know, at this point, I'm just having to rely on others to tell me how it is, and and to remind me of certain things because I've forgotten. We've just been so busy I hadn't gone. But from what I understand, fishing's actually really good.
Yeah.
They're biting. So
Yeah, man. Back in May, you won a tournament on Dale Holla, the Farley Outdoors tournament. You know, if anybody that's watching don't know Jerome Farley, uh, he actually owns and operates Farley Outdoors, which is an outdoor product, carries Firefly out. He has everything having to do with Firefly, but he also had a tournament right back in May.
he did. It's usually the first week of May every year,
Right.
and so that was went up the first year. Uh, Won that tournament. Was unable to go the second year. Then I went for the third year and won that tournament again. And probably one of my most favorite lakes that I've probably ever fished. It's just a special place. Got a lot of smallmouth, got a lot of big smallmouth, and a lot of spots. Some a lot of largemouth, but it's always been special to me, and I've always done well there. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I seen something where you said that Dale Hollow is also one of the most beautiful lakes that you've ever fished, as far as the scenery, just the scenic views you get from the water.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's really no homes on the lake. You can see some way high up on a mountain somewhere, but there's no houses on the lake, so it's real pristine. There's a lot of mountains with it.
Yeah.
Just absolutely beautiful lake. It's just like I say, it's a treat for me every time I go. I wished I could live right on the lake because it's really nice.
Yeah, yeah. You know, back in the day, Dale Hollow was a really, um, I guess you should say a really well known lake worldwide. You know, you had the tour level tournaments that fished it, which in a way, you know, we haven't seen a top tier tournament level fish Dale Hollow in a while. I guess kind of in a way it's good for the lake because you don't have all that pressure coming in with the pros coming in and fishing it. So I guess for a local standpoint, as far as a fishery, I guess it's good for the lake where you don't have that pressure building up and the notoriety. But the lake used to get a lot of notoriety. You just don't hear that much about Dale Hollow anymore.
Yeah, it's a special lake, and they do have quite a few tournaments up there, but not um, not something you hear a lot about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool. Part of the lake's in Kentucky, part of it's in Tennessee, and it's just a special place. One I look forward to going to every year.
Yeah.
And so yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, you did mention that Dale Hollow is probably your favorite lake to fish. Besides Dale Hollow, what other lakes do you like going to that you enjoy fishing every time you get a chance to get on the water?
Uh, well, way back in the day, my home pond was Cherokee Lake in Rogersville, Tennessee, and that was always a special lake. That's where I really learned, spent a lot of time with creek fires fishing Cherokee, and we'd fish Patrick Henry and Beach Creek, and so that's where those lakes are special because that's where I kind of got the love of fishing and got taught a lot of stuff. And here locally, we got Gunnersville, we got Lake Jordan, we got my and those lakes are they're Gunnersville fish is different than any lake I've ever fished.
Right.
These fish can be spawning slap dab in the middle of the lake, and it'd only be 4 foot deep.
Yeah.
So it's different. It fishes different, but once you figure some things out, boy, you can really load up on some really good largemouth bass there. But I like Jordan Lake. I'm partial to Jordan. It's a clear water lake. I don't do as good at Smith Lake. I
Right.
never have been able to figure that place out. But yeah, so there's just here in Alabama, there's just lakes all over the place, and you got a variety of, there'll be grass, and you can punch some, you can run frogs a lot. Then there's Clearwater Lake, so there's a lot of different diverse habitats in the lakes in this area, and that's why you see a lot of great fishermen come out of Alabama, just because of that diversity.
Right. Yeah, I want to I want to start diving into really what I want to talk about this morning, Chad, and that's Firefly Outdoors Marine. Um, and there's a pretty cool story that you have, growing up as a kid. I think it was you and a buddy or something like that. But I want see if we can have you relive that story about when you were a kid, how back in the day, you had that vision of, really what Firefly Outdoor Marine with the nav lights has become today with the, infracting globe, the whole 9 yards. But you done something as a kid and never realized back then that what it would become today. You know what story I'm talking about? And maybe you want to relive that story with everybody?
Well, I mean, and I think what you're referring to is the stern lights themselves.
Yes.
I've gotten much older now, so back then it seems like I was a kid. I was around 30, but
Okay.
it was we actually I was a little bit younger than that. I guess I would have probably been 26, something like that. But we had a shutdown at the plant, changing over some of the furnaces. But at any rate, so they asked supervision to be there around the clock, and so we were in there, and we decided to take a night shift because we like to do what we call government jobs. We could build some stuff that we like to build for ourselves. So we took this camouflage telescoping crappie cane pole, and we took an old oil reel bottle and squeezed all the oil out, and glued the cap on upside down, put a bulb in there with some wire inside of it, and screwed the lid back on. And at the bottom of the cane pole, years ago, the bases that we had didn't have the prongs. It just had two high brass humps inside of the base. So we had to braze all that, and we took some flashing and put on the bottom of it to make that connection, and it worked absolutely amazing. So for years and years and years, every year, probably a couple of times a year, I would think about it, and I had twin boys at the time. Had a daughter later on, but at the time it was just the boys, and so I was caught up being a dad, and just never pursued it. And years later, one day I got to thinking about it like I normally do a couple of times a year, and this time I just couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
So we started down that journey, trying to find substrates that were, back then carbon fiber wasn't a thing. I mean, I'd never even heard of it. So so we got started in that, and the one main thing that I had to end was that blinding light. I mean, if we hadn't, that had just been another stern light on the market. So, and we ended up fixing a lot of things that were wrong with this nav light, both the bow and the stern, and ended up, we hold full patents on them now, and so it was, and now that's even evolved even more into the torch lights, and so that's, but still carries that same non-blinding refracting plastic globe that we're known for. And then we added the cool features of the spotlights to go with it. That hadn't been done before. So it's been a journey, that's for sure.
Yeah. Now, the refracting globe, to really perfect that globe, I think it took right in the neighborhood of 3 years before you actually had all the perfect entities of the globe to perfection as far as the design of it and how it works and the refracting plastic, the whole 9 yards with the globe. It was like a 3 or 4 year process to get it perfect before it went to market.
Yeah, that was one of them things I didn't know if we were going to make it to market
Yeah,
with it, because it took 6 engineers and myself 3.5 years to develop that.
yeah,
Because you start blending plastics and you start angling things, um, uh, and we wouldn't get it just the way we wanted, so we'd have to change again and change again, and those changes are time intensive, and then once you get it, then you've got to also develop the 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 light output for that to see how it filters through and diffuses and refracts that piercing light.
yeah,
So it was a it was it was so difficult. So we had to really do two things at one time. We had to build the globe, and then we had to build the light source and design it to work with that thing. And we finally got that right, but it took 3.5 years to do it.
yeah, yeah. Now, the law states that as far as your stern light's concerned, your stern light has to be the highest point in the boat. So, a vessel, either coming or going, or anything around you, any vessels around you, could see your stern light or your anchor light from 360-degree radius. So there could be no obstructions blocking it. And I believe that I've never seen another stern light on the market that actually could telescope up quite as high as the Firefly stern lights do. What is it, 9 foot 3 inches that it will telescope up to? So no matter if you have a T top, a bimini top, uh, even a tuna tower on a big bay type boat, typically the stern light will extend so it actually can be visible above anything you might have. And I've never seen another product on the market that will extend that high. And who knows, maybe because if you take a look at like the carbon fiber material that the light shafts are built out of, Chad, virtually indestructible. You could run under a low hanging tree with it. It will bend all the way down but won't break, and it'll pop right back up to its normal where it's positioned in the socket. Where you take a lot of your other aluminum shaft lights, you do anything like that, it's going to break because there's no give in them. So I've never seen another product on the market quite like it, that you have the ability to be able to extend it. So it is the highest thing on your boat, no matter what you're running, bimini top, T-top, no matter what you have. And was that something that originally was thought of when you were designing the light, or did that kind of come along as designing it? How did that concept come with that long telescopic pole?
Well, yeah, I mean, there are some things that were a design feature, and I think in a lot of products that you see out there today, you design things a certain way, and you end up finding out there's some other benefits that you
Yeah.
didn't understand, and going to our original stern light that went to 9 foot 4.
Not before.
But the cool thing is the purpose behind it is you're fishing underneath the light,
Right.
and doing that changes everything when you get out there on the water. I mean, it's the difference of putting lights in your ceilings in your house versus putting them in the floor of your house. You don't want them there blinding you. So having them overhead, that certainly changes. Boy, it really just makes fishing such a pleasure at nighttime. But the carbon fiber is extremely light. It's extremely strong. But then we did some additional reinforcing to that. We laid what in the carbon fiber world, the cloth itself. We put what's called a U700, and we laid it at a 0 degree of direction in the bottom part of the pole, and that gives a huge amounts of strength. And so, but our poles, if you take it right in the center, put your knee on it, and you put a lot of force, you'll break it.
Yeah.
But if you load it up from the bottom, which in this application is what happens with wind force load against the top part of the pole, it's taking the load all the way down to the bottom, so then it becomes extremely strong. So, if you go underneath a limb, it'll bend and stuff. I can't help you if you hit a bridge going 70, but surprisingly, I guess there's always a fluke in the barrel somewhere. I have had a guy that actually was running about 60 and hit a bridge with it. He said it didn't even put a scratch on it. And I'm like, well, brother, there's a miracle. So it's but it's there are some benefits there that we didn't engineer to. It just happens to be the substrate and the way that it works. There were some things there that we gained by using that substrate that was like cool.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, there's a slogan that Firefly has, just like fishing under the full moon, and that's to the T what it is like when you have Firefly nav lights on your boat. You're just like fishing under the full moon, and one of the cool things I like also, especially like where I originally from Florida, got a bad bug problem, and here's the thing with bugs too. What attracts bugs is glare. The glare from the light is what attracts bugs. If you don't have the glare, you're not going to have the attraction of the bugs. Well, that's the one thing with the Firefly retracting glows is it. I think it's like 95 or 97% glare reduction. So when you reduce the glare you're getting coming off your globe, you're gonna basically almost cut your bugs to nothing. So it's not going to attract them. So that's one of the really cool features too, especially coming from a state that has a lot of bugs, especially at nighttime in the summertime. We deal with in Florida.
Oh yeah, well, here in Alabama we have bugs. I mean, but our mayfly hatch is what's so crazy here, and I've told the story many times that I've been out on the lake, and matter of fact, I think when I did, I was on Lake, and it just absolutely, the mayfly was just horrible. I mean, all my graphs, my seats, everything was just, I was having to rake them with my whole arm to be able to see my graph. I'd have to rake them out of my seat because it was just, they were covered. And I look up there at the stern light, and there's one mayfly sitting on the black part of the globe itself, or the base of the globe, and I'm just getting cracked up. I'm like, this whole boat's covered, and I got one mayfly on that bug, and it is the light rays that go out is what attracts these bugs, and so that diffusion of the light is in the refracting of it is what takes all that away, so you don't get any piercing light. You just get a really soft moon glow over everything.
Exactly. Now I'm actually holding up the battle light right now, Chad. But just for everybody to see here, if you look at the bow light, a really cool feature of, I mean, it's really a cosmetic deal, but really a cool feature of the bow light is if you ever see a firefly, it looks just like this is actually what a firefly looks like the way this light's designed. But another cool feature, Chad, and if you look right here, you got an on-off switch for your courtesy light right on the top of it, which the courtesy light, the switch illuminates too, so it's easy to find, easy to turn on, easy to turn off. But me, especially when I used to compete, how many times am I showing up at a boat ramp in the morning and have a last minute brain thought of something I need to tie on last minute. It's dark at the boat ramp or after you launch the boat on the water. Well, you got your courtesy light, and again, you could turn it on and off, but typical courtesy lights on your normal bow light is still bright. It still glares you. But with the Firefly, it has the amber or the yellow globe over, which also is a glare reduction as well. But if you ever look at a yellow light, yellow has no glare to your eyes. If you can look directly into anything glowing yellow, and it is not going to glare you. So it actually illuminates your. Basically, when I turn this courtesy light on to tie anything on the bow, tie a knot, whatever I'm doing, it illuminates pretty much half of my bow. But I could actually hold my baits and be able to tie underneath this without glaring me in the face. And then I could turn it off when I'm not using it for when I'm running down the lake. But that's a really cool feature too. Is the way you have this courtesy light designed on these things. Just everything about it is just well thought out. I mean, the vision behind it all is very well thought out. When the final product is in front of us like this, Chad.
Yeah, it's we we designed our stern light first, and then we thought, well, we need to, if we're going to be in the business of navigational lights, we need to have our own bow light. So we got to work on that, and what we did with all the plastics there is we moved that technology that we had produced in our stern light. We moved that forward to the bow light, and was able to have the same refracting plastic design in that as well, so that the red and green light it's diffused, so it's not a bright piercing light. If you're coming head on to it, it's soft on your eyes, and then we wanted to come out with a courtesy light, one that has certainly been in the industry for a while. I think the first ones had this big black box built up underneath the light, and it was something else. But they all had just a light, and they all were blinding. And if you used it and you turned that light off, at nighttime it's going to take you 10-15 minutes for your eyes to readjust back to the dark again. And so by having that refracting plastic, and we certainly didn't want to use white because we didn't want to confuse someone. If you were sitting still and they were running down the lake and all of a sudden you had a white light on the front, they would confuse that
Right.
that would be the rear of the boat. So we put the yellow in there, and it kind of went along because we took a picture of actually a lightning bug or firefly, however people call them different things. That's actually how, we just traced the outline of one and thought, well, God made that and it was great, so we'll just stay with that. So and then so we put a yellow tail on there, which goes great with what it is. It's a fire, the company's Firefly. So and it's just great. If I want to retie a lure, if I want to get a backlash out, if I want to unhook a fish that's got treble hooks or something, it just makes it so easy just to reach down there, hit the button, you got the light you need, so that when you finish what you're needing to do and you go and you turn it off, well, you just make your case. You're just going back fishing because you haven't lost your night vision. So that was important, and it worked, and there's we sell a lot of them. So, um,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Let's talk about the torch light a little bit. Now, the torch light is really one of the latest additions to Firefly Outdoor Marine, probably within the last 5, 6, 7 months, you've actually had it out. What is the torch light, and how is it utilized? And correct me if I'm wrong, but you could use it almost as like a headlight on a boat, if I'm correct.
yeah, it's we we we've 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 gotten to the point now to where we've branded the company for 5, 6 years now, 6 years now, I believe, and I think it's we have really gotten to be known in these navigational lights, so that when we came out with this, and it was something nobody had ever done, they had not put spotlights on there, and we did it because here in Alabama, in the spring we get ton loads of rain. Well,
Yeah.
when you're on the Coosa, it just goes down from one dam to the next and just keeps going. And there's just a lot of floating timber. You see a lot of people's boat docks get loose, or their boats will get loose, and so when you're fishing at night here, and we start fishing at nighttime in March, so there's a lot of debris, a lot of stuff that can get in the way, and I just wanted something extra that if I could take up that space up there, but it be small, but yet powerful, then I can have my nav light, and I can have a way that as I go down the lake, I can hit a button, I can check to see if there's anything in front of me, because I don't want any surprises at nighttime, because the water temperature's still, pretty cool, and I don't want to have to be taking a swim at nighttime. So, so we came up with the torch, and then we thought, well, if we're gonna do this, then what we need to do is to make sure that we've got all models covered. So we built one for the Minn Kota Raptor, and then we built one for the Minn Kota Talon, and that was really cool thing because it'll fit on any Talon. All of them. That one will fit every single one of them. And then we made the Power Pole blade, and we made one for the Power Pole Pro, and the Sportsman 2 have the same extrusion of the pole, so they're the same. So we've got one for the Power Pole Pro Sportsman 2. So we covered all models, and then we after we built it with the spotlights, we thought, well, there might be some people that really don't necessarily, they may not, they may just want just the nav light. They don't have a problem with the spotlight. So we made them where they have without the spotlight. So we got the torch, and then we got the torch light, the LITE. Here we refer to them in the shop as juniors, but and it's exploded. We launched it September 1st, and it took it about a month and a half. By the end of October, we couldn't build them fast enough, and I have just been so overwhelmed at the response with these things, and they're powerful. I mean, I can see just with the torch light up on spotlights, I can see 160 to 200 yards out in front of me. Now, we also went in and thought, okay, we want to have something that I can really cover more area. So we designed what we call our SL4. And it's just a 2-inch round light, and it's about 2 inches long. It's just a real small light, but that thing carries 3,000 lumens. Well, with the new light that we designed for the torch, from the original version. The original ones were 500 lumens per little spotlight on the torch, and now they're 750
Oh,
lumens.
wow.
So now I'm carrying 1,500 lumens up there on the torch, and then 3,000 lumens at front. So, I'm 4,500 lumens into it. Well, I can pull into a cove, and this is what's pretty cool, because I got to playing around with it, and I thought, okay, my SL4 is going to shine out in front of me straight, and that thing will reach out there, probably 350, 400 yards. And what I do is I actually turn my torch lights that's on my shallow water anchors. I'll kind of angle one to the left just a little bit, and to the right just a little bit. So when I pull in a cove, if that thing's 400 yards long and it's say 300 yards, 200 yards wide, well, I can pull up in the front of it and I can fire this thing, and it illuminates the entire thing.
Wow.
I mean, it's just nuts. So we've been really excited about the performance of these things, and we're starting to see a lot of the League Series guys, a lot of the MLF guys. We're getting a lot of these guys calling us wanting to run it. We've got customers that'll go to their favorite dealership that they like to deal with when purchasing their boat, and they're asking for the torch to be put on there. So we got a lot of dealers and installers calling, wanting to set up a dealership so that they can sell. So it's just been a hugely positive reaction to this torch series that we're just feel blessed and tickled to death that they're wanting them. So
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and the SL4 is well, if you have a boat that you don't have power poles, don't have any kind of Talon or Minn Kota, shallow water anchors on the back, you also have it where you could actually fasten it directly to your bow of your boat as well.
well, yeah, and that's the cool thing about it. And people are getting innovative with this SL4 because they're putting it on their bow of their boat, but we've noticed some guys that'll actually mount it to their graph gimbals,
Oh, wow.
and they're putting it on there so it's not taking up any deck space. Because, like I say, it's small,
Yeah.
but 3,000 lumens, you can reach way out there and keep yourself safe at night. And then we've seen guys go put it on their kayaks. We've got a lot of people putting it on their Bonafide XTR 130s. We've seen guys put it on their snowmobiles, on their side-by-sides. I mean, they're just using it for a whole host of things, and just getting extremely good positive feedback on these SL4s. So we're really proud of that light. But when you start pairing the SL4 with the torch lights, it's just insane what you can see out there at nighttime, just to keep yourself safe while you're running down the lakes. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, not everybody fishes out of a boat. You got a lot of guys that just enjoy going to the water, going to the lake, going to the jetties, going to the wherever you're going, and fish from the bank, walk the bank, pond hop, creek, walk the creeks. About 3 years ago, you came up with a product called the Shore Stacker. One of the coolest, most innovative things I've ever seen for your angler, that to make it convenient for them that enjoys walking the bank or fishing from the bank, the bridge, no matter where he's going, without having to have a boat. I want to talk about the Shore Stack a little bit, Chad, and the thought process behind that, because there really not another product out there anywhere that compares to this. You have a tackle box. You could have a cooler with this. It has a light socket for a nav light, so you still have light, and basically it's in a compact small box that you could carry over your shoulder, or carry like a tackle box down to the bank when you go. A very compact, easy to haul around with you. Let's talk about the shore stacker a little bit, Chad.
Yeah, that short stacker was pretty cool. Actually, we got that idea. We had a dealer in Texas say a lot of people was fishing from the surf, and they were just building them a cardboard box and putting them or a cardboard plywood box and just putting them a base on there, and they said, you might ought to take a look at that. So we went to the drawing board and came up with a system that did several things. One, yes, it has a tower on the side of it that's got a base that you would find in your boat, so you can use your nav light, whether it be the big stern light, or if you're in an area, if you like to fish the lake and the shoreline's not real, you've only got 4 or 5 feet and there's a lot of overhanging trees, you can put our junior on it and have plenty of light to fish, and then you can reach over and push a button and turn it off when you don't need it, if you just want to not have any light and just have some stillness and quiet time there. And but it's got a tackle box in the top to carry your hooks and your weights and your favorite lures that you want to do. And then when you open up the bottom section of it, which that lid flips over, and it's got actually a felt foam thing on there, so you can put hooks in that spot. Some that you may have already pre-tied on a section of leader line with a hook on it in case you break off. You've already got some built. And then down below, you can put your snacks and your drinks and stuff in, and it's real small and compact, and it comes with a shoulder strap, so you can carry it on your shoulder, so you can use your hands to carry chairs and stuff like that. But and that thing is really cool because it just works off your drill battery. Because we didn't want people to have to go buy another battery and some kind of charging system for it, because everybody's got cordless drills and different power tools. Well, here's what's really cool about that is that when you buy those tools and the attachments, it comes with the battery and it comes with a charger. So I mean, you've already got it. So we're like, okay, that's the way we want to tackle that. But then we got really surprised because we had a guy take his lawnmower, his battery powered, and it's got a humongous battery. So luckily our bulb actually will handle from 10 volts to 30 volts. Wow. So you can use big batteries if that's what you want to do. But we ran our navigational light, off of a 20 volt DeWalt drill battery, and it ran it for 71 hours and 13 minutes. So if you say you went camping for a whole week and you fished 10 hours a night every night, well, at the end of the week, you've only used 70 hours. You still got another hour and 15 minutes before that battery runs dead. So it takes a lot of fishing to kill a battery. And but here's the cool thing about it. And that's probably the thing I enjoy the most about this is, we designed something for a specific situation, and people find other ways to use them. They've put them in the middle of the campsite. They've put it the shore stacker underneath a picnic table and run the light through the boards and our stern light, and they play cards all night long. Or we've seen people that have ordered them to keep them in their pantry, and that one that's probably the one that blew me away the most. There's a guy from Texas bought one for himself and his daughter and her husband. And because the power goes out in Texas a lot, there's a lot of things. And so what ended up happening is when the power goes out, they pull it out of the pantry and they put it in the middle of the living room, and it lights up the living room, kitchen, and dining room. So, they can still see and cook over the gas stove. So I'm just like, how cool is that? I had never
Oh
thought
yeah.
about that, but so there's so many applications that people are using it for. They're surf fishing, they're bank fishing, they're putting it in their old aluminum boat for a pond that's just electric, and so they don't have to have batteries. But we've seen guys put it in their kayaks. We've just seen so many different uses for it, and so it's a pretty versatile tool if you want to have and keep at home. You've got it for a lot of different things. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and me coming from Florida, of course, Florida's not the only state that has to deal with the hurricanes, but you got Louisiana, any of the states up the Gulf Coast and the Atlantic
Yeah.
Coast, possibly from time to time has to deal with that. And I, coming from Florida most all my life, we've been in the middle of a lot of them, where we'd have the power out for weeks at a time in some cases, and yeah, and having the shore stacker where you could have it in a power outage situation, just so convenient, and again, carrying it around down to the bank, being able to use your DeWalt or whatever cordless drill battery you have just makes it so easy. I mean, you have a place inside the box where that drill battery sits down into, so you're not having to lug an extra battery around. And plus, a drill battery is pretty light too, but it runs it that long. That's just so insane, so impressive.
Well, we sent a bunch of them. Just simply because one person knew about them, must have told a whole bunch of people, because when all that went down in North Carolina, where that hurricane sat right over top of it and just devastated the whole area, a lot of people didn't. They were living in tents, and it was just a bad situation. But we ended up sending a bunch of these shore stacker boxes up there with our lights, and that's what they had around their tent. That's how they got to see was using that. So it was a pretty humbling experience, and sad at the same time. But we were glad to see that it helped them in a time of need. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. I want to start. Excuse me. I want to dive into probably my favorite. I love everything that Firefly has, but this is probably my favorite because you got to face it. I'm a skinny boy and I get cold awful quick. And we've got some videos out there explaining back in the day when it got cold. I have 5, in some cases I wear 10 long sleeve t-shirts under my shirt with a big heavy jacket, just doing everything I can just to keep my body warm on the water. Because the worst thing is a fisherman or any outdoorsman, no matter if you're snowmobiling, just camping, in a deer stand, on a boat, fishing from the bank, no matter what you're doing in the outdoors, the worst thing for an outdoorsman is getting a chill. Because you know as well as I do, Chad, when you get a chill, it's hard to get over that chill until you get back inside and get your body warm back up. It's almost impossible to get over that chill once you get chilled in the morning. No matter how warm it might get throughout the day, you can't get over that initial chill. Let's talk about the TEP suit and as well as the Mizu foul weather bibs and jackets, Chad, because like I say, you're talking to a boy that gets cold awful quick. When it's 50 degrees, I'm usually bundled up. So, I've been wearing them now for the last year, and just the most impressive design I've ever seen. And my tournament career goes back a ways, Chad. And I've wore a lot of different foul weather gears, whether it be bibs, jackets, one piece, whatever you want to talk about. And I've never seen anything that worked as good, kept you as warm like the TEP suit does. So let's talk about that a little bit, and let's go into some detail on the TEP suit and the foul weather gear.
Sure. Yeah, we're pretty proud of it. I've probably, I hate to even think of how many different models I've gone through before I finally got it the way I like it. And there's still a couple of things that I'm going to tweak with that. Um, and, uh, and, I have, I mean, before we built ours, I always fished, striker stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
and I actually thought that was neoprene. Come to find out, it's not. And actually, we got the really only true neoprene foul weather gear out there. And when we were building the tep suit, it's a base layer suit.
Yeah.
You can wear it under your jeans and a hoodie, and nobody know you have it
Yeah.
on. And I like to bow hunt. And I like to sit in a stand. I like to be on the front bow of a deck of a boat. And so, if the tep suit is kind of it would remind you of a wetsuit almost in a way. But many, many different features than you would find in that one. The whole entire suit has got felt inside of it. Just gives an added comfort and an additional thermal barrier.
Yeah.
We also built it out of 5mm neoprene, and so it's really thick, but you don't really feel it. And I don't get as fatigued during a fishing day when it's really cold, or if I've been in a tree stand, it's really cold. When you get cold like that, you fight cold and you get real tired and just you get real fatigued. Well, this also acts as like a full body compression sock, and it holds real tight to you, and it keeps your heat in, so you're not having to fight fatigue. But boy, you take it off after being on the water all day long, and you go to take this suit off when you get home, and you don't feel like you're fatigued. You don't feel tired. You feel, kind of energetic, really.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so it is the tep suit. The way we put it on is, you've seen these silky pants and long sleeve shirt that you would say is kind of like it's kind of like your fishing shirt. It's real silky. It's and I put that on, and I don't do that for insulation purposes. I do that to separate my skin from the felt inside, because if you sweat any, it is it wants to cling to you. So I do that to give that separation. Then I put my tep suit on. Now, from that point on, all I do is I put a hoodie. I pull my hoodie that I'm going to wear. I just pull it over top, and I put my bibs and my jacket on for my Mizu foul weather gear. That's all I've got on.
Yeah.
And we went to, and I've told this story a gazillion times, we went to the Alabama River and put in, and we had like a 22-mile run. It was 17 degrees outside. It was in January. It was 17 degrees. And I'm doing about 72 miles an hour or something like that for a 22-mile run. And when I got there, I was laughing the whole entire time because I never felt any of it.
Yeah.
I could feel the pressure of the wind, but I couldn't feel any of the coldness. So when I got to where I was going, I just hopped up on that deck and dropped my trolling motor and went to fishing, and was horse laughing the whole time. I thought, this is the craziest thing. This beats all I've ever saw, because our Mizu foul weather gear, and we've done something different to it since even you got a suit, was that we added an inside barrier of 1mm neoprene. That what it does is it adds an additional barrier so that if you get into some really really high winds and just rain that's going sideways and the floodgates is opened up, you can't hardly see the front bow of your boat from the console. It's raining so hard. We wanted to make sure that there was additional layer there available to make sure that nothing, no matter how extreme it gets, that it can't get to you.
Yeah.
And so, there have been a lot of companies out there. And look, I'll say this, our TEP suit and our Mizu foul weather gear, our rain suit, is not for summertime use. The last thing you want to do is put this thing on, because you will absolutely burn slap up with either one of them, our rain gear or a base layer suit. And so, because I can't compete against, Hook and Sims and AFCO and all these companies with their summer gear. I'm just gonna stay in my little lane. And so we made a winter suit that, years of fishing tournaments and stuff, I see guys come to the scales in January, February, and March in a lot of places, and they got half their closet on, trying to stay warm. A guy that I know weighs 150 pounds look like he weighs 250 pounds when he comes to the scale, and their rain gear's hanging off of them. It's now underneath the heel of their boot, and it's dragging along the pavement. He's tired. He's cold. He's bundled up to beat all, and it makes it a whole lot worse when you don't catch the fish you want to catch. Yeah. So now it's added defeat to that, but. And so, when you put on this neoprene, even on our Mizu foul weather gear, it holds comfortably. Our Mizu foul weather gear is not like our TEP suit. It doesn't cling to you, but it doesn't. You don't have all this extra flared out leg room. It just snugs you nice and snug. Yeah. Nothing hanging off of you. You're not. You feel like you're wearing the suit. It's not draped across you, and so and both suits, both the Mizu foul weather gear and the TEP suit, all have full felt lining all the way out, waterproof zippers. Then we added a nylon fabric to the outside of the neoprene so that you can't tear or rip the neoprene. Added features in the knees and then in the butt, so that if you're sitting down, you're not gonna. There's even more additional of added features in those areas to keep from tearing, because along with the nylon fabric they would put on there, and then the felts on the inside. And so our TEP suit is 5mm neoprene. Our Mizu foul weather gear is 3mm. With an additional 1mm and it's from the waist down. We just add, because there's so many zippers, and they're waterproof, but you get some really torrent rains. I just don't want one drop to be able to get to anybody. So we added that additional feature there, and that'll be coming out in 2026. Yeah. So we've kind of made it even better, and then I have a full peace of mind when somebody puts this on, that there's no issues, and they can go and wherever their adventure leads them, and no matter what the weather is while they're on that adventure, I feel fully confident that they can go and do that, stay nice and dry and warm, and enjoy that adventure. And so, that gives me a peace of mind where I don't have to worry about them.
Yeah, and you mentioned the zipper pockets and everything you got in the jacket. You got zipper pockets inside the jacket on the outside. But the storage space on your jacket is just unbelievable. I don't think the entire jacket, there's an inch of wasted space on the jacket as far as storage is concerned. You can put your phone, a wallet, key, anything you want to put that you don't want to get wet, that you might have to look at or find pretty quickly. So you put in the pockets in your jacket, and once again, the zippers are watertight zippers. It doesn't get wet in there. It absolutely don't. And like I say, I don't think there's an inch of space on that jacket that's not be able to be utilized to store something you might want to put in it that you might want to find pretty quick. But another cool feature, Chad, is on the top of the Mizu jacket on the hood, you got an adjustable ventilation system on the top where you could actually completely close it off, or you could open it up whatever you need. And one of my biggest problems I have is when I'm wearing my glasses, whether my sunglasses or my regular glasses, and I have prescription glasses in my sunglasses and regular glasses, so I have to wear my glasses all the time. I can't do anything without them. Well, I have a big issue with my glasses fogging up, especially if you put a buff or a hoodie or anything on over your glasses. They instantly fog on me. Well, with that ventilation system on the top of the hood, it really helps eliminate my glasses from fogging up the way you have that designed.
Yeah, it's a 3-inch slot on the back side. There's a strap up top that helps adjustability. If you're putting on a safe face or something like that, you can really cinch that thing down tight. And if any air does get back there, there's a 3-inch slot at the top towards the back that it allows the air to go and go through instead of just blowing your hood up on you. It keeps that from happening. And yeah, it is. I mean, this thing's got a lot of features. It's a hidden top pocket that you can put your hands in at the top of the bibs. It's got a place for you to put pliers at the top of the zipper on the right leg. If you're fishing with crankbaits a lot and you got treble hooks or pop-bars or anything like that, I mean, you can just pull them out. You don't have to walk back there to the center of the boat to get your pliers and stuff. It's just right there handy.
Yeah. And the D-rings as well. You got D-rings on each side, which makes it really handy to hang a duck call, any kind of line clippers. Another thing for the D-rings also is you're always looking for a place when you put rain gear on. Usually you hook it to your belt loop or your vet, anything, but now you got D-rings where you could hook your kill switch lanyard for your outboard on them.
Yeah, we got D-rings on both sides of the jacket, and then we put a D-ring on the bibs as well, because say it stops raining for a little while and you leave your bibs on, because if you sit down or anything you're a bit wet. Well, you can hook that kill switch to your D-ring on your bibs.
Yeah.
So we just tried to put everything that you need and nothing you don't. But it's got so many features on it that it doesn't fall short of any expectations. Well, if they would have just did this, or if they would have done that. So we went through that whole gamut, because I am OCD about stuff like that. I like, if it's no difference than in my boat. If I have it on me, or if it's in my boat, if it doesn't serve a purpose, if it doesn't aid me in doing what I'm trying to do, then it's just not going to be there. And so I didn't want somebody to have to purchase the suit and then say, it'd have been a really good suit if they'd have just did this, or if they'd have just done that. So we talked to hundreds of fishermen and got inputs on what they like or what they didn't like. And so we started building this system, and that's really what it is. I mean, it's a full unit system to help brave elements, so that you can get out there when it gets really, really cold and really, really bad weather, and you're still very warm and you're still very comfortable, so you can enjoy it. And that's that. We wanted to be a part of that if that was the case. So we stayed with wintertime gear in that sense, because I feel like I would put this unit up against anybody's winter gear. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, and when with the Mizu foul weather bibs and jackets, another thing too is, you're keeping. And we're talking about the price now. You're keeping it where anybody, no matter who you are, what you could afford, could go out and get a set of Mizu bibs and your bib and jacket. 'Cause, I've wore them all, dude. Since my career started, I've wore pretty much every kind of rain gear there is out there, bibs, jackets, the whole 9 yards. You go and buy a set of bibs and jackets, no matter what brand you're buying. You're gonna be the better part of $1,000 per bib and jacket. I'm not just talking this both. I'm talking, for a set of bibs and a jacket, you could be well over $1,000, $1,500, even up into the $2,000 range. But you want to talk a little bit about the affordability of them, and once again as well, Chad. And again, I've used them all, and I will put the Firefly bibs and jackets as good, and in most cases better than anything I've ever seen, just because of the thought process put into the design of it, how they're built, everything that goes into the bibs and jackets. In most cases better than anything I've ever seen on the market, but yet you're keeping it so affordable that that the average guy that just wants to be able to get out and hit the lake could afford to buy them.
Yeah, hey, look, in this day and time, everything just costs so much. The supply of materials are it's just out of this world. So we went in and did this, and it was something that we had to make money on so that we can have more made.
Yeah.
But there's no sense in getting crazy with it. So you can buy our tep suit for $249, and that's a full base layer suit. I mean, that alone itself, and there's so many different situations. That's inexpensive to have a neoprene suit like that for that kind of price. And then we did our Mizu foul weather, our jacket and our bibs. That was it's $600 for the whole suit.
Yeah.
And like I say, there's just so many features in that, and I've been told that suit is worth a whole lot more than that. But it's I think of it like me. Am I going to go pay $1,000 for a suit? Absolutely not.
Well, exactly, and that's kind of what I was getting at too, because in a lot of cases with different bibs and jackets you got on the market out there, you're going to pay $1,000 per bib and per jacket. So with what you could get the Firefly Mizu bibs and jackets for, and they're every bit, and in most cases better than what's out there existing right now, that you're gonna pay well over $1,000 for. It just allows the everyday fisherman that has to support his family, that still enjoys getting out and spending some quality time on the water, that can't really, you got to be quite honest, you can't afford to go out and pay $1,500 for a set of bib and jacket. So
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think that's the same across our whole lineup of stuff. When we very first started, our big stern lights that go to 9'4" were $159. They were say $160. And I had a go guy. He said $160 for a light. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is not like your typical light. I mean, a little loom pole with a little blinding light. They get them for now they got them for $79, $89, and I'm just like, but you don't understand. I didn't build a 70 or 89. This is going to be worth far more to you than if you'd went and paid, 40, 50, up to $80 for the old stern lights that you normally have, versus what you get this one. So 2.5, well, I guess it was almost 3 years later, this guy, same guy, messages me. And he's an older gentleman. And he said, I never thought, I just kept hearing so many people talk about it. So he said, I thought I'd lost my mind. I just went and paid $160 for your light. And I said, okay. I said, well, have you gotten it out on the water? He said, I sure did. And he said, that thing's worth $500 to me. He said, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. And then later on got to thinking about it, what I said to you when you first got started. And he said, that light is so underpriced for what you get. And I'm like, well, that's, we say, we've got a saying here at Firefly, and we say it all the time when we start designing, developing stuff. We work out of Joe's lunchbox.
Yeah.
The average everyday guy trying to do something that he loves to do, but prices have gotten so stupid that sometimes it forces them to not be able to go as much or do it like they'd like to do, or they have to save for a long time to get something that they really need. And we just try to make that so affordable, and so that they can get out there and enjoy it, and it worked really, really, really well for them. So we do that across our whole lineup, and we're just, it's not about every company has to make a profit so they can continue to stay in business. But that doesn't mean that I have to make millions of dollars in profit and have 2 or 3 homes out there. That's not what this is about. And so we keep everything simple, and people, I think, have really appreciated that, and we try to make every one of our customers, it's a personal thing for us, and listen, I give my personal cell phone number out a whole bunch just because I want them to know. Look, they can call if they got a question or something. They can call directly and talk with me, and we'll get anything figured out. That's if something's gone wrong, or if they just want to say, "Man, this thing's absolutely amazing." Well, for me, that's like winning an Emmy or something, or they gave me some special award, because as a manufacturer, you don't get to hear all those kind of things very often, because you're not so clued in, because you're dealing mostly with dealers and stuff. But we don't. We deal with a lot of individuals and a lot of dealers. But we want to hear from you. We want to talk with you. I want to hear about your best fishing story. I just those kinds of things are fun for me. So I want to be a part of that side of it. I don't want to be clueless as to what's going on. So
that's awesome, Chad. To check out the products, get out and check them out. Go to their website, www.fireflymarine.com. You could actually order them right offline. Any of the products we just talked about. Also, of course, Firefly Outdoor Marine is the sponsor for tonight's show, as well as Fishtails Bait and Tackle is also a sponsor for tonight's show. But if you're in the East Tennessee area, one of our tackle shops right here, Fishtails Bait and Tackle, and they're actually located at 5008 Georgetown Road, right here in Northwest Cleveland, Tennessee, as well, has a full lineup of the products, as well as a bunch of the shore stackers they also have. And another huge shout out to Jerome Farley with Farley Outdoors. You could also find him at farleyoutdoors.com as well. So, check him out. I've been using the products now for this is going on, I think it's my 4th year with you, Chad, and I'm just so excited about all the products and even some of the new products that's going to be coming out in the future. Man, it's just been a blessing to kind of help be a part of this ride with you, Chad. It's just some insane stuff, man. Before we end this thing, Chad, talk about your social media. Where can they look you up? Follow Firefly Outdoor Marine. Follow your social media as well. What platforms do you have, and how can people follow you?
Well, they can go to fireflymarine.com for our website. They can go to Instagram, they can go to TikTok, they can go to YouTube, they can go to Facebook, and Firefly will be there. There's a lot of cool stuff. You can get a whole bunch of information. You can see all the posts and stuff we made and look over those, and I'm sure you'll have a question and answer somewhere in there. And if you don't, you can always message us, and we usually respond, within, because I pretty much check that thing about every hour to check it. So usually I'm not. Some people, we usually respond real quick. So we want to make sure that you get the answers you need and everything addressed that you're looking for. So. But we're on all those sites, and so they can follow us at any one of them that they like the most. We're probably on it.
Man, Chad, thank you so much for joining us on the mic this morning, taking the time. I know you're a busy man, and but we appreciate you, man, hanging out with us. And guys, once again, I cannot stress enough the product. Go check them out on their website at fireflymarine.com, as well as Fishtails Bait and Tackle and Farley Outdoors, and you won't be sorry. Get them, check them out, and give us feedback too when you do put the products on your boat, or get one of the products. Let us know, because we want your feedback on how you enjoy the product as well, because I guarantee you're going to enjoy it, because I know I've enjoyed it for the last 4 or 5 years using the product. So Chad, once again, brother, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on the mic, man. It's always a pleasure when we get to talk to you and hang out, and hopefully,
thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Hopefully I'll see you here, I guess, really less than about a month away now at the East Tennessee show. I know you're usually there. I know Jerome's probably going to be there as well. So I'll hang out at Jerome's booth with the Firefly for a little bit at the show. I know I'm going to be there one of those days. Probably the Saturday during the show I'll probably be there, which is the busiest day there. But check them out also if you're in that area, in the Knoxville area. I don't have the dates in front of me now, but the East Tennessee show, it's always a good time and a big show.
Yeah, it is. It's a good show, and we'll be at the Ultimate Fishing Expo there in Coleman, Alabama, January 16th, 17th, and 18th. It's supposed to be the largest fishing expo in the state of Alabama.
Wow.
So we're looking forward to that. That'll be the first show, and then we've got a whole host of shows lined up throughout the year. And so we look forward to seeing everybody, and we appreciate On the Mic having us here to chit chat and while we drink a cup of coffee and talk some fishing products. That's a lot of fun, and I just appreciate y'all having me on. And
yes, sir,
hope we've been able to answer some questions for people have out there, or but we do appreciate it very, very much.
Yes, sir. And again, thank you so much, Chad. And we'll be talking to you real soon. Thanks, Chad.
All right. See you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of On the Mic with Chad Watts. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Norman Lee Fishing. This has been an NLF production.